Well, hello all. So, a lot going on, but I'm not going to cover it all. Can't possibly. But I think we'll pull over right over here and see if we can't do a video. A lot of people out Friday and all here in California, where our COVID numbers are starting to flatten off. So far, San Francisco's had 10 people die of the disease. We're over 700 infected now. But the Orange Man is insisting that we open the country back up in about 2 weeks or less. He's not being exact. So we're going to talk about oil demand around the world and what's happening to it. Well, as you know, the oil sector is taking quite a hit. Such as in India, the demand for oil is down 70%. That's a huge decline. So there are predictions saying that the consumption of oil around the world for the entire month of April could average 50% below average, or below last year. But as we look at this graph here, we see that China oil processing climbs to an all-time high. Now, what would that be from? Well, that's because they're now ramping everything back up, even though they're having some reoccurrencing cases. Some of the people that were cured are now becoming ill again, and they're seeing that that's happening more and more. So does this virus leave a little seed behind, kind of thing? And that you think you're cured, but you're not. After all, this is all brand new, and there's been absolutely no studies really at all about this. Just some quick ones from corporations who are trying to make some money on it, but other than that. So, while we're talking about the COVID and that kind of thing, let's talk about drugs. Drugs in the water. Can you believe this? This story is pretty amazing. In Bangladesh, the water reeks of drugs and chemicals. The drug that's in the highest levels is the antibiotics. This has contributed to a spike in antibiotic resistance. So if you wonder why the antibiotics aren't working in India, it's because there's so little sewer treatment that all the antibiotics and all the drugs are just flowing right through people and into the waterways. They found high levels of just antibiotics alone in all water bodies, including puddles. Puddles. Thought I saw a moose coming that way, but it wasn't. Can you please circle somewhere else? We've got this whole area to circle, and you're just circling me round and round and buzzing me. Well, anyway, while this bug just continuously buzzes us, let's continue on. So in developed countries such as the US and the UK, they have sewer treatment plants. Which is all the drugs that you take are all peed out in 24 hours. So just think of that when you're taking all these drugs, that how important it is to have a sewer treatment plant. Now, we could save our planet a lot of grief if the richest countries would pay for sewer treatment plant around the world. To stop the influx of these drugs throughout our oceans, lakes, rivers, and even puddles. 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 You know, the little things down on the streets that form when it rains. That means the residue is probably in the air, and every time it rains we're getting pummeled with drug-infested rain. What comes around goes around, huh? So now we have another bug circling us. So Environmental Coffee House, I wanted to give her a plug for her channel. She showed us her morning, and there's this funny white puffy stuff all over the ground and the trees and the lawn and the cars. It was the most bizarre thing I ever saw. I mean, we are about a third of the way through summer here in California with a few breaks of mist and drizzle, but we're doing pretty good. It's amazing seeing how clear the skies are. They say that in Los Angeles and the Bay Area, we're seeing 30% cleaner skies. 30%. It just shows you how badly we need mass transit on rails and that sort of thing so that we can take the cars off the streets, save our air. You just take the cars away and look how much better the air is. Now, unfortunately, because the factories and about 50% of the car traffic, I guess, is still running, we're still climbing fast with our CO2 numbers compared to last year. Let's take a look. So, the battle against fossil fuels isn't over, especially since we're giving, here in the U.S., we're giving trillions of dollars of relief money to the fossil fuel industry. Apparently there are some people that are getting some checks from the government, but they're nowhere near 1,200. They're just 300 or 400. As I warned you guys there would be. These Republicans aren't going to let money, good money, go to some poor person's pocket. They can help. Because it's spring, the smell is amazing. That's why I put on the flowers. But if you guys can't stand the flowers, let me know about them. We won't put them on anymore. So, I wanted to show you this out here. Typical spring weather, kind of windy, blustery. Let's have a glance, shall we? You know, this would be such an excellent time to go for a world peace, because Yemen over in the Middle East is ready to explode. They're the next country too, and they don't have any treatment at all. No hospitals left, nothing. They're just on their own. And this disease will just rip right through the community. And again, the countries that are supporting the military-industrial complex could shut off the supply of money and end world war altogether. Become green, you know, work on your food supply, giving back land to the environment. It's so badly needed. So many things we could do right now. We could have it as a part of the Green New Deal and restore our planet. God, what a concept. But something tells me that nobody's about to cut the purse strings of the military-industrial complex, nor the oil industrial complex, or the health insurance industrial complex. All these could be fixed right now. So one of my commenters said, well, I think you put way too much on leadership. Well, if it isn't leadership, who is it? Leadership's all there is. What do you expect, somebody to actually do something like stop driving or stop consuming so much? That has to come from the government. The government has to set that all up so that consumer goods are made to last 100 years. You don't have to keep buying them over and over. They're made of 100% recycled material. Again, we don't have the leadership for that. And private industry isn't going to do it because it may not make money at first, if ever. Sometimes government does have to pay for things like mass transit, medical care, sewer and roads, power to the people comes from the government. I mean, there's so many things that socialism gives us here in the U.S. But there's this illusion that we're not a socialist country when we are. Not 100% socialist, but we do have social programs, and they benefit us greatly. Could you imagine having to pay every mile that you drive instead of just paying your taxes? And instead of paying $1.50 a mile, you may pay 1/10 of 1/1,000,000 of 1 cent because you all pay together. Spread out the cost. That's what socialism's about. Not every place has to make money. Consumerism is fine as long as it's kept at a very small levels. You know, you only buy things when you absolutely need them. And needing the boat and the trailer and the hot car and the double car garage and the 5,000, 6,000 square foot house, that's all luxuries that this planet will not supply in a sustainable fashion at all, and others will be hurt by it. Sustainability is in where our government comes in. They can put in laws saying you have to recycle, then they could put in recycling that actually recycles, you know, actually do something like governments used to do in the 60s and 70s. But now it's buying for the corporation and the military industrial complex. So I definitely do appreciate your guys' comment. If you want to, I usually don't ask for this, but if you want some, if this channel was yours and only yours, how would you set it up? What would be the content and what would be the style? I certainly would appreciate to hear that. And until next time, don't forget to comment.